Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm just an American guy on a journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Today, we're going to be reacting to the top 10 things you should never do in the UK. Before we get started, I want to mention that I know the lighting looks different in this video versus my normal videos, and that's because, unfortunately, my wife and my daughter were in a car accident earlier today, and don't worry, they're fine. It was more like a fender bender. They don't even have a scratch on them, so that's awesome. And but I was still having to take pictures of the car and kind of mess with the insurance and everything, and deal with all that stuff. But as long as they're good, we're good, and they're good, so we're good. But that is why I'm filming at night instead of during the day, because I just didn't have the time earlier today to do so. But anyways, guys, so everything's good. Just an annoying thing. Got to pay a deductible, unfortunately, and you know how that is, dealing with insurance. And anyway, but I still want to make this video. I've been wanting to check this video out for a while. I think when it says the things you should not do in the UK, I think it's basically saying that these are things that may be offensive to the people in the UK, offensive to British people. I'm not really sure about that, but that's kind of the impression I get from this video. But anyway, let's go ahead and check it out.
Let's start by saying that in no way are we trying to scare you away from visiting the UK. But if you are a tourist or an international student in the UK, then wouldn't it be better to know a few things that could offend people there? We mean, you don't want to hurt anyone with your actions or words, let alone get into trouble in a foreign land. People would understand that you may take a while to adjust to the new surroundings and customs. But if you want to save yourself from embarrassing situations as a newcomer in the UK, we have compiled a list of things that you should avoid doing there.
Okay.
Number 1, calling the United Kingdom England.
Okay, yeah, absolutely understand this now. I mean, because if you live in Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland, I don't think you want your country to be called England. So it totally makes sense.
Before you take the flight to anywhere in the UK, know its full form. UK stands for the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Do you realize what this means? The UK consists of 4 countries: Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales. Moreover, each country has its own distinctive culture, national identity, and government. So before you begin your sentence with, "England's landscapes are," confirm that you really are in England, and not Scotland, which is a separate country.
Yeah.
Number 2, ask if they know the Queen. How would you feel if...
Why? Why would I just think some random person on the street in the UK would know the Queen? Is that something that like tourists really think that like, oh, the random guy on the street, he probably knows the Queen? Like, I don't understand why anybody would even think that. How would you feel if some tourist in the US asked you if you knew Donald Trump? Or anybody really? Like, I would just think if someone asked me, do you know, I don't know, anybody in the government, I guess, I would be like, no, why would you think I would? I don't think I wouldn't be offended by that. I'd just be like, why would you assume I would know them? Okay.
Some tourist in the US asked if you knew Donald Trump. You'd call that person plain stupid for assuming that everyone breathing the US air knows the president. So how do you expect people in the UK to personally know the royal family? More than 60 million people live in the UK.
Is that a thing?
And over 8 million of those live in Greater London alone. There is no way that these people know their monarch more than the internet knows. You won't offend people with this question, but will definitely make them laugh.
It's like,
in your face. Number 3, block the escalator. Escalators are common in most countries, and we don't give much thought about the do's and don'ts while we are standing on it. Well, you'd be surprised to know that there is indeed a wrong way to stand on an escalator, at least in the UK. It is an unspoken rule in this part of the world that if you want to stand still, you should stay on the right-hand side. Why? Well, the left-hand side of the escalator is reserved for those people who are in a hurry. You know, the lot who believe that by running through the escalator and saving about 30 seconds, they would get to their destination on time. Just remember, if you don't want to be pushed past, then stay on the right.
I don't understand this. I thought that was like, that'd be common sense everywhere. I don't, I don't think that's just a UK thing. It's like here in America, like if it's common courtesy to stand kind of, if you're not going, faster than the rest of the traffic on the escalator and you're just standing there, then I mean, it's common courtesy just to kind of stand to the right and not block the entire escalator. I don't know. Is that something that happens a lot in the UK with tourists or something? I don't understand.
Number 4, jump a queue. Many of us don't give much importance to a queue. You know, the ones we see outside a dessert kiosk because, well, an ice cream craving can't wait. But don't do that while you're in the UK, simply because that is bad manners. Even if you think it is a petty thing and shouldn't annoy anyone,
Wait, what?
You aren't doing it here.
What?
Before you attempt any such adventure, know that those people ahead in the queue came here first and deserve to be served first.
Okay, guys. So far, I'm a little bit annoyed with this list, simply because it's like, I think people in America or any country, if you're literally jumping them in line, are going to not like that very much, and that's going to be rude no matter where you go. Like, that's not something that's just about like that's not just something you shouldn't do in the UK. That's something you shouldn't do anywhere. I don't understand. I'm hoping that he gets to some stuff on here that's like, the UK itself, like some interesting things that are the UK alone. He got close to it with the, not knowing the Queen, but like even that, it's just like you could say that about any country and them knowing their monarch or the president or whatever. So I'm not sure about, I don't know. We're only on number 4, so let's go ahead and continue.
Plus, why do you want any inconvenience in the form of a fight? Stay in the queue, wait for your turn, and all will go swiftly. Number 5, pick up a rented car. We don't mean to say that driving in this country is illegal, but you can get yourself and others in trouble by driving. We have created a nice bit of suspense here. We deserve a pat on the back. Jokes aside, the thing is that you will have to drive on the left side of the road here. And if you come from a nation where the opposite is the norm, you might have a tough time learning this.
I can see that.
When you are new to a place, such experiments are the last thing you should be doing, right? Plus, remember you don't know your way around, so you'd be consulting maps on a busy road while getting used to driving on the wrong side. Number 6.
Okay, like, yeah, I think that was that I can understand. Like, I still would do it because I believe I could pick it up pretty quickly. But I can see that being, especially for some people that maybe they don't drive much from where they're from, or they're just not good at driving or good at kind of navigating and stuff like that. I could see all of a sudden switching from the right to the left. I'm sure that definitely takes it takes a bit of time to kind of be proficient at. I can imagine like you're on the left and you want to turn right, or you're on the left turning when you drive on the right, turning right is perfectly easy. I mean, there's nothing in your way. You just go and you turn right. But if you're on the left and you're turning left, it would be good. So it'd just be the opposite turning would be a little bit off. So like if you're on the left and you're going to turn right, it'd be a little bit interesting. But that's about it.
Talk about money. You don't ask someone how much they earn or how much money they have in their pocket unless you are family or very close friends, right? Come on, that's basic decency. People in the UK might feel offended if you ask too many questions about money. In fact, boasting about your wealth is also not going to be appreciated. So keep the big bucks in your pocket. Number 7.
Okay. Again, I think that's kind of something that is everywhere. I don't think that's like a common sense thing. Again, like that has nothing to do with the UK itself. So I don't get it again. That has nothing to do with the UK.
7. Greet inappropriately. Meeting someone for the first time and experiencing that awkward situation where you go for a hug while the other stops you with a handshake. Ever been there? If you don't want to find yourself in that situation in the UK, just go for a handshake, because they aren't too comfortable making physical contact with strangers. Hugging and kissing on the cheek is reserved for people they know well and are comfortable with. Oh, and what do you say when someone asks you, "How are you?" By no means is this a cue that you can start off your saga of nasal allergies if you don't want the person to never see your face again. Every "how are you" is followed by "fine," "thank you," and nothing else. Number 8.
Okay. Again, I think that was generally something the world over. Now, I will say that I'm not sure if this is true, but I have heard that in the UK and in a lot of European countries, Americans sometimes can come off as very kind of touchy, and get in your space a little bit. I'm not really like that too much. I'm a pretty quiet guy, really. But that's kind of one thing I can kind of see as maybe true, that you might not want to, come and pat someone on the shoulder or something like that there. I don't know. I just, I've heard that the UK is not as touchy-feely as, say, America is. And let me know in the comments if that is the case.
8. Fake their accent. No matter how many times you have practiced the British or Scottish accent, don't use it, because it probably isn't that good. People aren't going to like it if you force their accent, and especially when you are doing it all wrong. You will make it look like you aren't a part of them, and are desperate to lose your identity and mix with them. Wouldn't it be better if you first make friends with natives of Wales, and then try a Welsh accent? Number 9.
Well, I will say that when I've done the accent video, I've tried a couple of accents, and that's just me trying, but I wouldn't just go around to, I don't know, go in Wales, like you said, or England or wherever, and just be like trying to pretend I'm from there and try to sound like the native people there. I don't know anybody who would, though. It's like, again, that's common sense. Generally, though, I don't think people would be so much offended. I think they'd just be like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you trying to, you obviously don't have a very good British accent or Welsh accent or whatever. But that one I can actually see, though. That's one that I believe is specifically something to think about when you go in the UK. But I think it's something that most people, I would guess 95% plus of people, would not really try to do in the first place. Not with strangers on the street or anything. If they had friends and then, they were joking around, they might try to make an accent. But I don't know. Is it just me, or is, anyway, let's go ahead.
Voice opinions about Brexit.
All right. Okay.
We know that Brexit is the topic of discussion in pretty much the entire world, but you can't be walking around spitting your views about it when you're in the UK. People there are directly related to it, and your views can be taken personally.
Sure.
And what happens when someone takes your casual opinion personally and in a negative light? Yes, they get offended and might beat you up. Okay, maybe we went too far with the beating up part, but you still don't want to risk it. Number 10.
Yes. It's the same thing as don't talk politics. What is it? Politics, religion, and something else. But if you want to stay friends, just leave that stuff out of it. And until you actually have close friends that you want to have, that you either agree with on things, or that you you're not going to be like in fist fights over something, or you can disagree and still be friends. But with strangers on the street, I agree. I don't have an opinion on Brexit. Personally, I haven't even looked into that yet. I've got to look into Brexit, but and I plan on it here soon, because I don't know much about it other than the fact it's obviously the UK leaving the EU. But, so I don't have an opinion on it. But even if I did, I'm not going to go up to strangers on the street and share my opinion on Brexit. Like, why would I? It's no different. Like me sharing my opinion on some political party in the UK. I'm not a part of that. It's one thing to share it, share stuff like that with people or maybe online and chat forums or whatever. But just to go up to random people and to say, hey, man, blank was wrong or blank was right, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
10. Mess with the Queen's Guard. Did that bushy hat fool you? Oh, people, the Queen's Guard isn't your friend, and you aren't forgetting that. You may fool around with him a bit, and he won't pay much attention, let alone punish you. But there is a line drawn, and you must never cross it, because the consequences won't be pretty. Never, we repeat, never touch the Guard, because once you do that, prepare yourself for a world of hurt. Do you want that gun, the one that was fascinating you, to be pointed at you? If not, maintain a respectable distance from the Guard. He deserves it. How was your experience in the UK? Tell us in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel if you like this video. And while you're here, check out our other videos and tell us what you think.
Okay. All right. First, I will say that, I don't know, half of those were straight up just, I don't know, anywhere in the world. So I don't really understand how he put those. I don't understand why he put those in here. I'm sure there's got to be, things that you shouldn't do in the UK that may be acceptable or normal in other countries. And just like there's things that are normal in the US that aren't normal in the UK or whatever. One of those is like in America, tipping is a common custom, and I don't really know much about the tipping culture in the UK. I'll probably watch a video on that, but I know it's not, I'm sure tipping is okay and is appreciated, but it's not kind of a necessity type deal in that it is in the US. But I'm not going to get into the whole tipping thing, but my point is that I don't understand why some of these that applied to every country were actually listed under you shouldn't do them in the UK. But, that's fine. We did touch on a few points that absolutely are, the UK. One, you might want to consider not, if you're not a great driver, you might want to consider not driving a rental car because you might have a hard time, learning from driving on the right to right on the left. I think for a lot of people it's probably fine. I think it'd be fine for me, but I think there are some people who wouldn't do well driving on the left. So if they're used to driving on the right. So yeah, absolutely one that's good. But, talk about money, it's everywhere. Greet inappropriately. I mean, that one might be applied to the UK more than some countries. I'm not really sure. I'll let you guys tell me in the comments if the UK is the average a little more standoffish than places like America. I'm not really sure. I've heard that, but I don't know that for sure. So, fake the accent. Absolutely. I think it's the same everywhere though. Like, you're just not going to go up to some stranger and start trying to pretend you are from there. That's just kind of weird. Voice your opinion about Brexit. No, I mean, it's no different than I don't know, going to, India and voicing my opinion about their president, or going to China and voicing my opinion about their president. It's like, why am I going to do that? Unless I look extensively at something so I can come up with an actual opinion that is based off of facts and logic. And most of the times you really need to live in a country, or you've got to study this area of this country for a long period of time to really grasp what the citizens are going through with that. So, that's something that, makes sense. And here's the one that, yes, I've watched Queen Guard's videos in the past, and I can absolutely say that it disgusts me. It disgusts me what I've seen some of those tourists do. It's like, why? These are military men who are serving their country, serving their queen, or now serving the king, and they're doing a service. Okay, it's like it's no different than like I don't even know how to describe that. It's just like, why would someone do that? And I still can't get over that when I've seen some of the stuff going and like throwing things at them and touching them and like trying to grab their gun and like just all sorts of stuff, and those are some of the like, I'm sure it gets worse, but that's one thing I will never be okay with. And I would be offended for them if I saw that in person. I am offended for them. I'm not even there. It's just, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. And if I was standing there and saw someone doing that, I would have words with them, because I would not appreciate I would not appreciate that. People, it's one thing. People are doing a service, right? People are doing a service. They're in the military. They're a police officer, a fireman, or EMS, or, whatever it may be, right? They're doing a service for the people, for the citizens of their country, or in this case, for their king or queen. It's like, respect that. Give that some respect, and sorry for rambling. That is one thing that, yeah, I do not understand why people do that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mess with someone who's just some regular, 9-to-5 job. I wouldn't mess with anybody doing their job, period. But it's a step more when there's a job of service involved, where they're serving the community in some way or whatnot, serving the monarch in this case, being in the military. It just goes a little bit more, needs a little bit more respect than some other things. But either way, sorry for rambling. I'm done rambling. I just, yeah. Anyways, guys, I thought part of this list was interesting, but generally, all of it was common sense to me. I think that for the most part, most of this should be common sense to everybody. I mean, at least, I don't know, 90% of the population. I don't know. But let me know if you have anything to add to this video. If you found anything interesting about this video that you'd like to talk about. If you have any suggestions for other videos that are kind of like this. I'd like to know about some things in the UK that are offensive, that aren't offensive maybe in other countries, and things like that. So if you have any videos like that, feel free to share them. I would love to check them out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button, and feel free to leave your comments. And don't forget to press that subscribe button to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.